We are live. I think we are live. What's going on, you guys? Everybody's here. Let's just come in, make sure we can hear us. Cool, cool, cool. For those of you guys joining us on this live stream, make sure you guys leave your questions in the comments down below for us to reply as we go along as we go along with this tutorial. Now, what's important to note is that in our community and on this channel, the whole goal is to help you and empower you to build your brand. Now, in this video and this live stream, we're actually going to be diving into the design process of creating a design using AI step by step. What this means is we're going to be really diving into a tool that I feel is super powerful. And then we're also going to show you guys how you can actually start selling it from home with no money down. All right. So if you're a new viewer to this channel, or if you've maybe come across it a few times before, maybe watch some videos, I promise you guys that this video is going to be an in-depth live designing session. All right, so whatever goes we're going to show you everything of how it works. So let's dive into it without any further ado. Now, what's important to note is designing, right? What tools should you use? What program should you consider? Now, there's all kinds of design platforms out there. You got Canva, you got Photoshop, you got Infinity Design, which I think is great if you learn it and if you know Photoshop and stuff like that. It is a free program too. But if you're not a designer, chances are you don't have the skill and you didn't go to school, and maybe you don't want to spend thousands of hours watching videos on YouTube on how to do a certain task. In this video, and the purpose of this video is to show you how easy it is to get started. And for that reason, we're going to be using a tool called Kittl. Now, I linked all the information to Kittl down below. All of the things that we're going to show you guys is on the Pro plan, so you do have to make sure you guys get the Pro plan. Consider it. Once you see it, you might actually want to switch over to it. But regardless, the free version gives you a lot of options. But Kittl is going to be the program that we design with. And the reason for that is, like I said, guys, it makes it easy for you to design, and anybody can create professional looking graphics, which I think is an incredible thing that they're doing for entrepreneurs, and it vibes with our audience and all of you watching. So let's head on over there and start this screen recording, start showing you guys how to design with AI. We're also going to be talking about things that you need to know while you design. So we're going to be diving into a lot of different tools. And of course, one of them is the print on demand platform that I mentioned, which is Gelato. So we're going to be diving into actually importing graphics, listing your products for sale, and start making money from home with no money down. All right, so let's bring in Kittl real quick. I'm going to share that screen. For those of you guys watching and joining us on the live stream, huge shout outs to you. Let us know where you're watching from. Always love to see where people are coming from. All right, so gonna share this screen. All right. So once you create an account, you're going to see a dashboard that looks like this. Now, what's cool about Kittl is that they got all kinds of different things. So let's say you don't have any idea what you want to design. Well, there's actually templates that you could just start looking at, right? So they actually create some pretty, they actually update their library pretty frequently. So you could find a lot of different things. Like, for instance, this one really stood out to me right now. It's the first time me seeing it. So this is a very interesting perspective. So as you guys know, before we start to design, I always talk about, the power of knowing who your avatar is, right? Who are you designing for? What are you designing? So as you start to design your collection, always keep that person in mind. And for the purpose of this one, we're going to kind of just shoot something off the field, just super random, so we could design this. So leave a comment down below with a design style or a certain market that we should design for. And if we don't see the comment in the next second, Brandon, what should we design? What should we design? Like maybe something like a lowrider type thing? What do you think? A summer lowrider type? That was a horrible idea. What about like lowriders? Homie style, homie style. Okay, we're gonna go homie style on this design. Since we're on the east side, the studio's on the east side, guys. We got construction workers right next door just pounding away. So if you guys hear that, don't get alarmed. And if you hear any gunshots, those are real. Recently saw that interview with Bobby, and she was in Compton. It was hilarious. That's how we describe people that come to the east side for the first time. They're like, what noise is that? It's gunshots, probably. Maybe. All right, so we're going to be designing more of a homie style. So let's say you don't really know what design for homie style you want to do. So let's just look up homie. Who's homie? So this one homie, maybe like Chicano. Okay, yeah, the actual design. So you can see if you don't really have any idea of what you should choose, we just went to the templates and it gave us something to start with. Now, what's cool about these templates is that you could potentially use them for the fonts. I really like to use these templates for fonts because it gives you that style and aesthetic that you're going for. The design itself, this one, I'm not necessarily a fan of, so let's use AI, but I like this one. We're going to definitely keep that one in the hopper, and we're going to go to new project. All right, so templates are great for you to start with something. If you want to get inspired by something, pull fonts, pull certain effects. Templates are awesome, so that's where templates come in. Oh yeah, just watch a movie, exactly. All right. Man, you guys need to meet the man Brandon behind the camera, dude. He's gonna be on the next live. We should have a Q&A with him actually. All right, so what we want to do whenever you're setting up your artboard, guys, is go 5,000 by 5,000 minimum and a 300 pixel DPI. This is a pretty good catch-all for print on demand. As you start uploading, start working with different platforms, everybody has their little details, and what the beauty is you can always resize. But I like to start with a pretty nice size artboard here that gets our project going right. Now, the next thing we're going to do, so the way that Kittl works and the reason why it's so cool is the fact that, again, you can pull in templates that we talked about, and you could also use this AI feature. So designing with AI has never been easier. Like, honestly, it is a crazy time we live in. And the fact that you can just kind of bring in, you can either choose styles that are pre-selected here. So the way that what Kittl's essentially doing is they're putting in all of the backend to get you something that looks closer to what you're looking for. So if you choose an image style, anime, oil painting, it'll create that type of AI design. But what's cool too is that you can also upload your own styles. So I'm gonna cut on over here. Where's the advanced? Okay, so if you go to advanced, because they have a turbo option now, it just processes faster. They have an advanced option that allows you to actually upload styles. Now, the way styles work is it's actually pulling data from that image and helping you create something pretty close to that image. So without using a style, let's just go to image. Without using a custom style, let's head on over here and just show you guys what that all means and what it means for your brand. All right, because sometimes it's a little confusing. I got to be honest. All right, so head on over there. We're using a mascot style. Let's do a maybe like a homie inspired entrepreneur with gold chain and Chevy Impala car. Okay, so what I did here is started with some prompts. Now I selected a style that was pre-built into Kittl, and that'll give us a style that's more mascot, meaning more of like a figure vector base. What we're going for is a vector-based design. And what I want to do with this and the purpose of this live stream is to actually create something that is sellable or something that could potentially hit a certain market. All right. Now we're doing this live, so I honestly don't know how it's going to go. So I hope you guys tune along and leave a comment with a question that you got so we can answer it. Now, it does take a few seconds, right? So what the AI is doing is oh, wow. See that? Whenever I'm doing this on camera, guys, I legitimately am surprised. Like, this is crazy. This is really cool. So like you can see Chevy Impala in the back. I didn't even say he should be wearing the Cortezes, but I say a homie and the AI is like, yo, they always wear Chevy Cortezes. Um, so yeah, so this guy here, it's not bad. If I were going for this type of direction, this is not bad. Okay, so what we're gonna do, what I like to do is always create like an artboard here, that then you can like always leave a copy, and then you can start editing outside. So what I want to do here is I'm gonna change maybe where actually I could change colors. Try not to have AI change colors because it'll change the entire graphic. You can do that sometimes with the effects. Homie spot entrepreneur gold chain holding backpack and Chevy Impala car. In the hood. All right, let's see what it does with in the hood. In the hood background. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so I want to add a background to it. This background didn't have anything, so it could work. This one could work if I wanted to use it more as an icon. But now I want to see if we add a background, how that background will look. And then these are essentially, if you kind of have an idea of what you're going for, the whole goal with the prompts is to essentially try to describe exactly what you're going after, right? So if you could do that, you're off to a good start. In this one, I'm throwing it up in the air. We said, hey, let's find something. This one looks like CJ from San Andreas. And what is Kittl? So I'm legitimately, what would you like to do? I don't know. Replace. What does replace mean? I don't know. I'm learning something. It says Kittl Copilot. Something new. It's more like he's smoking something. Yeah, he's like smoking something. Yeah. Yeah, this one came out pretty cool. Yeah, so as you guys can see there, we got a pretty good design here. Like this one, it's actually pretty cool. Okay, so let's just say we want to go for something like that. And now let's take it one step further. All right, I want to take it one step further for you guys. Let me, I'm going to come in over here for a second. So we're going to stop recording here. What I'm going to do next, guys, is I'm actually going to, homie. What I'm going to do is pull in an image or a t-shirt design. Homie t-shirt. To show you guys what the style is like. All right, so homies. Okay, so let's say I want to go for something like, wait, why is that there? This is kind of cool. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just going to grab a screenshot of this design. One of the questions to the people that AI designs, there are not copyrights. That's a good point. That's true. That's true. All right, guys. So when it comes to AI, you do want to proceed with caution. You don't want to actually take a graphic from the internet and use it in your design. You want to create something that's yours. And when it comes to AI right now, especially with Kittl, it pulls in a lot of designs that look pretty close, but it never actually fully matches that graphic. So you're kind of in the sweet gray area. So if you are creating graphics with AI using Kittl, you have some kind of validity. That's a word. But yes, do not just paste your Disney logos in here. Don't just do that and claim it as yours. You want to side in the side of caution. So now what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and actually present what we're going to do. So what I did is I screenshotted. So in this example is a perfect example here, guys. I want to tell you guys in real time. I want to show you guys in real time. All right. So what I did is, so remember how I talked about save styles, right? And if you're watching this, if you're just joining this live stream, let us know where you're coming from, where your brand's at, and what questions you got about designing with AI. We're doing this on a step-by-step. Now, earlier in the video, I talked about the style, right? We were talking about save styles. Now, what you could do here is you can actually screenshot a style that you like from the internet. Let's say you really liked a certain graphic and you're like, yo, that'd be really cool for me to customize a shirt, taking this graphic inspiration, but then making it my own. Right now, typically, if you were a graphic designer, you would do this task as well. You would essentially take something and then mash it up, make it a parody, make it something that's your own, and it could be original that you could resell. So AI is just assisting the masses to do that now. So what you're seeing here used to take hours, if not weeks of work that you can now get in seconds. And because of that, you're able to start getting new design ideas, beating certain trends, really aligning with your audience. And on-demand printing with a company like Gelato allows you to just list and sell. So when it comes to this, what we did is we actually did save style urban. It says urban cartoon, but I just copied and pasted. So what I want to do is I want to put a group. Three guys. Just want to mention one of the things that if you want to go deep into the notoriety story, you have to get merch with the notoriety. Right. Okay, so what we're doing here now is I uploaded a save style. We're going to generate the image. Now, the way that Kittl works too is that it gives you credits. So you get up to 100 credits on certain plans, and then those reset on a daily basis. So depending on your plan is how many credits you're going to get. So yeah, so the pro plan gives you all the features and benefits we're showing you guys here. Every 5 hours they reset. Okay, so you see this here, guys? If I wanted to go with like an entrepreneur homey type of look, take a look at this. This came out pretty cool. I kind of want it to be 4 people. I want it to be me, Brandon, Medine. Me, Brandon, and Medine. How about that? I like that. I think that's kind of cool. 3 guys. I put 3 guys and a girl. It only gave me 2 guys and a girl. So 3 guys. I'm going to put 1 Hispanic, 2 Hispanic, 2 Mexicans, and a black guy. And 1 black male standing outside a garage holding bags of money. All right. So let's see what it creates. And again, guys, when it comes to designing with AI, it's you guys are seeing this in real time. It could take a few minutes, it could take hours. There's sometimes when I'm designing something and it literally takes me hours, like 4 to 5 hours of playing with the prompts, of trying to find the right mix and the right words, the right inspiration. But that man, it really did us like that. Look, the AI really did us like this, guys. Check it out. But you know what? We're gonna roll with it. I like it. I like it. So maybe the background is a little too much with a landscape. So we're gonna do with a landscape background with cars. With Lamborghini. Oh no, 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 you're right. You're right. No, no. Yeah. What Chevelle, Impala, and what other car should we put on this one? What about a Chevy truck? Chevy truck. Buick. The car that here in the US nobody wanted, and okay. All right. Knowing your market is about knowing your cars. All right. So I put just generic cars, but we have to let it know what type of cars. All right. So we're going to just see what this one gives us, and we'll start moving on to how you have to master your art. Now, again, guys, we're going to do our best to create something, and then we're going to be talking about the different print methods. So if you're watching this right now and you're seeing this and questions are coming up like, yo, so what about this when it comes to print on demand? Or what about this type of style? Like, what should I be aware of? Those are the questions that you should be asking that we're going to be answering in just a few moments. All right. So when it comes to this one, hey, this one worked pretty good. I like it. I think it's pretty legit. Can't believe it did us like that with the first one. No, not the first one, the second one, but I like the second one too. All right. So when it comes to these designs, maybe we should also look at just a bag of, let me see, but we're doing the homey style. So let's do 3 guys outside of a parking lot with gangster. What the? We're gonna call them the duffel bag boys. Let's see. All right. Like I said, takes a few minutes, if not hours, but we're not going to be here for hours, guys. I just want to find one graphic that's good enough for me to proceed and show you what you guys need to do. So let's say you come up with a graphic and you're like, I really like this. How do I expand on it? That's the goal of what I'm trying to do with this. I don't see the potential for these ones to do that yet. So the reason I say that is because they are a little bit too much background, but not just the background. I'm just seeing, okay, this has different elements that we can expand on for the sake of this tutorial. So what I'm seeing here is now they got the shoes, they got the duffel bags, the chains, they all kind of look like a group. So what came from this became this. And the idea was to make it look like me, Brandon, and my boy Medine. All right. So I think that's pretty close. Look, they got the goatee. Brandon's got his mustache and goatee too. So Medine's got his. Guys, this is the one. All right. So now what I want to do here is obviously if you're going to be printing this on clothes, you got 2 options. So let me move this out the way. You got 2 options for printing. Now, what you want to do whenever you start to customize stuff on any design is just create new artboards for the stuff that you're going to start to create. Let me zoom out. It's kind of confusing me here. Okay. So I would just do I think you can actually just do 5,000 by 5,000 and then just add a custom. I think that's a feature I got to talk to them about. Because the Kittl team there needs to have easy templates. All right. So what I want to do whenever you're designing, just always, if you like something, copy and paste it. Just put it somewhere else and start working on it here. Now you got a couple different options. You could do the background remover, vectorizer, or upscaler. So we're going to do the background remover here. Now this is where the challenge of designing with AI comes into play. If I remove the background, it removes all of the cars, plus the ground and some of the elements that I really liked. So we're not going to do that, but let's just go and add this next one to show you guys the example. So this was removing the background, and this one still has the background. So let's come in here and vectorize it. Vectorizing is probably going to be a challenge as well. Not going to lie. But let's do it. Let's see. Vectorizing. There's a lot of colors in this and a lot of gradients. The more gradients and colors. So when it comes to vectorizing, what it's doing is it's pulling all of the different color elements. So depending on how many colors you have, it's trying to create like a layer for it. So you can then select it and change that color. But if it has a lot of blending and like a lot of different shades of a color, it typically doesn't work well. But let's see. Oh, wow. Not bad, but as you guys can see here, like it kind of makes things look a little droopy, where this looked a little more high end. But it's not bad actually. Now the beauty about vectorizing is that it gives you sharp, clean, high resolution graphics because it's a vector graphic. And honestly, this is gonna work. But you see here, if you really wanted to watch and some of those details a little bit more preserved, that's the only downfall of vectorizing the whole image like that. But like, let's take a look at the original here. All right, with the original, what you could also do is upscale it. So I would always, if you're going to be removing backgrounds and stuff like that, always upscale before you vectorize and before you remove backgrounds. It helps sharpen the image, bring some clarity to it. But in this example, I honestly think that the vectorization was decent, but the for sure. So let's see what we can do here. Now, the reason I vectorized it is I want to remove the sky element. What do I actually want to do with this? See, that's always important what you want to do. You have to like start with what you want to do. So This homie one that I pulled a graphic from does show the background and everything. So you know what? We're just going to keep it simple. And that's the limitation sometimes. You guys are seeing it in real time. What do you want to do? What can you do? If you remove the background, it removes everything. If you vectorize it, you could change colors, and you could also hide colors. So in this example, if I wanted to try to get rid of certain colors, I could do that. The main idea was trying to get rid of the background, the sky element. See that? But then it removes a lot of the ground too. So that's what you're challenged with, guys. This is the reality of designing with AI if you got no skills. And if you're designing with AI, chances are you have minimal skills or no skills like me. So don't feel bad. The idea, guys, is that you can get your products up, right? So many times people just, hey, I don't have the money for graphics. I don't have the time for this or that. I don't have the time to learn something. Guys, it's a lot easier than you think. So again, this is a market I didn't educate myself on. If I would have educated myself on it, I would have brought certain elements out of it, but we're not doing that. So we're learning it in real time. All right. So I think this is pretty good for the sake of this video. Now, to make this a graphic, right? You want to probably put the brand name on it. What should we call the brand? What should we call the brand, Brandon? Firme. Okay, let's like macizo. Firme it is. All right, we're gonna go with Firme. Now, you see how we pulled this template earlier in the tutorial, guys? This is a good opportunity to bring some of those elements back. Take a look at that. Okay, so we're gonna go Firme. So this is how this works. You can edit the fonts, but you see how the font just works for this design. So that's what I like about the templates is that creatively sometimes it's hard to pick a font. Like if you're not a designer, it's hard to actually choose something that you're like, yo, I actually like this font. Choosing fonts is super hard, guys, unless you're like a professional graphic designer. And then when it comes to how we're going to use this, honestly, I think that's kind of cool right there. Like that looks pretty nice. Um, since it was at the bottom of the other one. But you can also warp the fonts. Okay, we got something. But you know what? I think I want to keep. So what's cool is that you could always undo. Works just like any other like Photoshop or design program. You can just keep undoing. All website based. So what I want to add here is crew. Feed my crew. I like that. We're gonna go feed my crew. We're gonna throw it right on the floor here. Look at that. Bam. Not bad. All right. So now if you want to take a look at your graphics, see how we started with an idea, just using AI, kind of like it's not really there. As you morph your idea and you start to realize, maybe it should look more like the homies. You bring in some style elements, then you can start to like really play with the concepts. This is really good to just get concepts and ideas out of the way, guys. Sometimes there are limitations. I'm not going to say this is the end all be all because there could be some limitations where you get it pretty far and you're like really doing your thing and you're like, but this is as far as I could take it because now I want to really do this with it. I want to like remove this. I want to add this. And sometimes the AI can't do it all for you like that. So because of that reason, that's when you can download it and work with a graphic designer to help you. But for the sake of this, Oh yeah, you could do mock-ups and not use photo shoots. Take a look at that, guys. Not bad. All right, so inspiration, this one. Our take, this one. Not bad. I almost wanna buy it for Brandon. All right, so what you could do is you could save it or you could also download it. So you could download your mockups, and if you download your mockups, you could have them as PNGs, or you could just save it so you can create your line sheet. So what I'm doing is that's good. All right, we got a t-shirt. Next thing I want to do is make a hat. All right, so I wanna create a hat now. Let me see. Okay, perfect. So we can see us again, guys. If you're just joining us, we're a few minutes into the design. It took us about maybe 15, 20 minutes to design something on Kittl. We used AI. The inspiration behind this was a homie style design. Played with some prompts. If you're just joining us, repeat that we actually did little things along the way to help you kind of navigate Kittl. I feel like Kittl's an incredible platform, and we have links in the description below. Now, when it comes to creating other products, right? So that was a t-shirt graphic. And the reason I made the t-shirt graphic that way is because we're going to be printing it with a style called direct to garment printing. Now, Gelato has DTG printing as well as embroidery, and the things that you need to know about both of those print methods, whenever you're designing, you also need to keep in mind what you're designing for. Does that mean that you're going to be doing embroidery? Like if you wanted to put that design on embroidery, it's not going to happen. You can't do an embroidery design like that. You have to pull other elements out of it to make it simpler, right? And I'll show you guys in just a moment what that means. But when it comes to DTG, you can print full color. You can actually like print on the entire garment. So the fact that we created that image that had a lot of different colors, I had that background, it's going to come out really nice when it comes to DTG, as long as the files that you upload are good quality, right? And that's why we say 5,000 by 5,300 DPI is the minimum. But if you can go a little bit higher, once you upload and you start to see error messages and stuff, you might just need to adjust your art size, and it's really easy when you have a program like Kittl. All right, so let's design out the final product, and then let's show you guys how it is going to work and how much it's going to cost to make and how much you could potentially sell it for. Now, when it comes to this design, right? So I said, hey, the limitations on this was, let me add this to stage. All right, now you guys can see it. Cool. So what we were talking about is the limitations on this being printed on a hat. It's just not going to happen, guys. So what we want to do is create another artboard here, and we want to start to play around with a design that we can print on embroidery. Now, when it comes to embroidery, what's really important to note, if this is a first time or first few products that you're thinking about making, is that embroidery is actually the process of stitching into the fabric. So you think about a stitch, and it has to go in there. So like a tattoo. Actually, that's a really good point. So embroidery is like a tattoo, guys. But tattoos, you could go full color, kind of. So it's not really like a tattoo, but just imagine how painful it is to get a tattoo. You want to keep it simple so it doesn't hurt as much. I guess that's the better way. All right. So when it comes to embroidery, now when it comes to embroidery, you want to keep your design super simple. So consider using something like just the font of the design. So if this was our logo and this was like our graphic for the design, maybe this is what we're going to use instead. So we're not going to like take the whole image, or we could potentially use like a duffel bag or some icon, right? But I think just a simple, yeah, font base. Yep. Simple word, simple icon. That's what's important. So now let's go mock up, see how this looks on a hat. So I'm just going to pull the actual font from the design. I mean, we're just going to keep it really simple, but you want to keep your embroidery design simple. The more complicated it is, the uglier it's going to look. All right. It's not going to look good. It's going to be like really mashed up. So you want to keep it simple. And let's see if we do a black hat. Look at that. Let's go upload, save to uploads. And now we got an embroidered hat. So we got a hat, we got a shirt, and let's just say we also wanted to do a maybe what other accessory item? Phone case, yeah. So phone, they don't have phone cases. Kittl doesn't have phone mockups for some reason, but Gelato does, so that's fine. We will. Oh yeah, we can also pull that. Yeah, you're right. So if you guys wanted to do a like if a product that isn't on the screen, what you could do is just like pull up a phone case transparent, and what you would do here is you would just screenshot, and then you can upload your actual designs right there, and you could pull them into your mockup. So you can actually just start making your own line sheets. So you don't have to necessarily only use the stuff there. So this is an example of how you can get creative using Google, bringing in some certain products. Maybe it's a product that you designed yourself, like it's a custom product you photographed, and now you're like, man, I want to start printing on this, but I'm not sure what designs to go with. Upload your photos and create a line sheet with it. So in this example, we're gonna come in over here. What's cool is that you can also remove the background, so the background doesn't stay on it. See, moves it right over, and copy these designs. So we got a hat, a phone case, all in real time, guys. So if you're joining us live and you've been watching this from the beginning, huge shout outs to you. I hope this is some value. My main goal for this live stream, guys, just in case for you guys that are watching, is to just kind of show you that it's not that complicated, right? There is some things to know sometimes. It could be a little frustrating, right? So I'm kind of working out all the kinks with you, so you can always reference back to this as you start to design products using Kittl. So we got a firme graphic there. We got the mockups that we did go into a mockup folder. So we can import that in, import this in. AI background remover. And we just created a little collection here, guys. In about 20 minutes, we designed 3 different products. Right? You want to be selective of how you use your logo on stuff. But look, guys, like we literally just designed this out. Before you do that, now an important thing to know when you're designing is always try to group your final design. So if you have different layers, select it and group it. That allows you to essentially make it smaller, resize it, not lose detail. All right, cool. So here it is. 3 different products designed with AI for the Firme Crew brand. Now, I think that's a cool name. If anybody has it, shout outs to you. I'm gonna have to check you out. But yeah, so look at that, guys. We literally just created these mockups. Now, the whole purpose of this video is again to inspire you, to motivate you, and to let you know that it's easier than you think. Designing doesn't have to be something that takes you years or months. It could be something that you can do within hours. Now, that design is not something that I would personally like really love to sell, but if I had a market that liked it and that liked that style, chances are they'd love to buy it. So if you know who your audience is and you know who you're designing for, you know exactly what you're going for, Kittl helps you get there. Now, with those graphics, you may be wondering, okay, how do I actually start to sell this? Where do these graphics go? Because designing is one aspect, selling is a whole nother. Now, when it comes to selling, you don't have to have inventory. So you don't have to physically stock the items, right? All you got to do is upload them to a print on demand platform, promote it. You can order a sample, right? So I do recommend ordering samples of the products that you design. That way you can see it, feel it, wear it, photograph it, and actually start selling it. But for the sake of this, we're actually going to move into the designing. We're actually going to move into the making of the products. All right, so let's share the next one. Sorry about that. Present, share screen. We're going to go to Gelato. Okay. Now, gelato.com, I'm going to just pull this up real quick, guys. So Gelato is essentially a print-on-demand platform that allows you to print on demand, right? So you upload your design, somebody orders that design, and then they make it and ship it for you. The way it works out is you pay for the product to be made. So once you start designing, you're going to see a cost of use making it, right? So you pay that cost anytime a sale comes in. The customer pays you their what you list it for. So let's say the product costs $10 and you list it for 20. You're going to pay $10 to Gelato, and you're going to collect 20 from your customer. You keep the difference, so you keep a $10 profit. Right, so that's how print on demand works. And print on demand works best when you can sell for a higher price than it's costing you, and you could demand a higher price point for the products that you're making. Right, so when it comes to selling like things on trend, sometimes you're going to be battling certain trends, and a lot of times it's a race to the bottom on price. Right, but if you have a brand, or if you're ahead of the trend and you're the only person selling something, you can keep that price high for a pretty long time before everybody else starts copying your design. Right, that's the name of the game when it comes to selling on Etsy and other marketplaces. But if you have your own brand and you have your own style and people want to buy it, but you just can't front all that money when it comes to manufacturing, then working with a print on demand platform like Gelato helps you design and sell your products. All right, so let's show you guys how that all functions. So what we got here is a catalog. So once you sign up through the links in the description down below, we actually have a special discount there for you guys where you can actually get 50% off your first sample order. So I highly encourage that you guys sign up and then be ready. By the time you sign up, be ready to place an order, because after you sign up, you got 3 days. I want to say 2 to 3 days to order your first sample for free, right? It's 50% off, actually, not free. 50% off your first sample. All right. So check the links in the description for you to get that. So you guys can literally design a collection 50% off, and you can start selling it. So you save some money and you can make some money. All right. So now once you're signed up in here, once you actually come in here, and by the way, huge shout outs to Gelato for doing that. We've had a lot of you guys take advantage of it and show me what you have made. And it's been really cool to see your guys' products come to life. Now, when it comes to Gelato, you got your home, you got your product catalog. So with the home, you want to always connect it to the Shopify store. We're not going to dive into that. What we're going to do is working on the mockups and pricing and profits. But we do have videos on the channel that we'll link in the description down below where we actually dive into the listing, the selling, the Shopify integrations, all that good stuff. All right, so let's head on over to the product catalog. From here, what you want to do is create your collection. All right, so in this example, we wanted to have a t-shirt. So, oh, they actually got a new t-shirt here. It's kind of cool. They got the shaka wear. Okay, they got some shaka. So the price that they have here is the price of the garment with the printing. Now that's important to note there, guys. It's the price of the garment with the printing. So for this champion shirt, 1964 with a print. For these other products, 30, 19. You can see pretty quickly how expensive it can get depending on the blank that you choose. Right, so but then you got some very basic ones here, like a unisex heavyweight, $14.95. Now this is where it's important to know how much you could sell a product for. So in this homie example, right, let's just head on over and see how much homie's selling for. This one is selling for about $30, and I want to say this is probably a bootleg one, because I don't think, or maybe it's not, maybe he's reselling stuff. Who knows? All right, but I think around $30 to $35 is the reality of where somebody like this market is going to be willing to pay, maybe $35. So with that being the case, do you charge a higher price? Do you spend a higher price to get a $35 sale, or do you go with a $15 product to be able to resell it for $35? Those are the questions that you got to ask yourself. Now, if your collection and your branding is strong and you realize, hey, you know what? I could charge $45 for this and people are going to love it and they're going to keep buying it, then you can choose a better product, right? But if your market isn't willing to pay, that's the reality, guys. Who is your market and what are they willing to pay? From that, you choose your blanks, you choose your costs, you choose your designs, and you're more profitable with print on demand. Sometimes people want to dive into like, hey, I'm going to get a $20 shirt, but I can only sell it for $25, so I'm not making any money. Right? If you're thinking about it in that case, you're not going to make any money, right? But if you know that your customer is only willing to pay $25, then you need to start looking at products that are costing you less money, right? So the t-shirt for $14 is a better fit in that example. But let's just head on over here and start designing this. Now, the way this works is you want to drop your designs here, right? It says right there, drop your designs here. So when it comes to designing, remember how we mentioned 5,000 by 5,000 is the goal. So what we're going to do is we're going to download our artboards here. We're going to download this, and we are going to go 5,000 by 5,000. If you're designing with multiple artboards, you need to just select the artboard that you want to export. So in this example, we're going to export number 3 and number 4. And then we're going to go 5,000, remove background, optimize quality. Those are the two things you want to do. You want to hit download. What it's doing is it's processing, and it's going to download it as a zip file. Now, the zip file here has your art. So I don't think you guys have seen it on screen, but if you are, the art's there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, back to Gelato. We're going to browse our files, go to our downloads, and upload our designs. All right. So now what it's doing is it's putting it in. A note is that whenever you export an artboard, you always just want to, just know that this is you selecting it. Now I want to see if it's giving us our size. I don't think the inches and stuff are there just yet. Width and height. Okay, so as you're stretching this out, you see how it's doing the DPI. So it's telling you, hey, this is good, this is not good, right? So the bigger it gets, the lower the resolution. So depending on how big you're going to design on, you want to make sure you export your graphic to fit that resolution. All right, so since this one's a front t-shirt graphic, a 5,000 by 5,000 is more than enough, and it can actually go to a bigger size too. So with that being the case, we're going to come in here. We're going to put it right up there. We got our firma. But what we can also do, so this is the front design. Let's do a preview. What's cool about Gelato is they have some really good mockups, and they got some really good photography in the way that they help you market it. But as you can see here, maybe it's too big. I don't know. Let's see. That's why you look at your reference material. It's about the same size. All right, so we got firma there. But if we wanted to do it different, right? Maybe you're like, you know what? I don't know if I like that. Let me upload my other design. Now what you could do is you could choose your other design. And maybe you're like, you know what? Maybe I should do firma right up at the front and then hit this design in the back. And maybe that's more of the style that you're going for. Depending on who your audience is, they might want that design on the front, or they might want it on the back. All right, so that's always important to know, is that's why you want to create different assets, right? Whenever you're designing for a collection, you want to create different elements that you could put on different products or different placements. So on this one, maybe that does look better. Check that out, guys. Like, we literally just created something out of nothing. So if you guys are watching this live, you've been seeing this transformation happen in real time. So with that, we just want to put it there. That looks good. I like it. Okay. So now what we're gonna do, you always want to save as template. And one thing that you also have to notice is that since we had a back and front, it's going to charge extra. So print on back is $5 extra. Again, this is why I mentioned knowing how much your audience is willing to pay. If I knew my audience was willing to pay $45, $50, then this Shaka Wear t-shirt would be a good fit. But if they're only willing to pay 30 to 35, chances are I might have to always be selling it for 30. So I'm only making like possibly nothing, depending on discounts and refunds and shipping charges that you may incur randomly, right? So not a good look if you're selling a lower end product, right? It'd be better to go with a $14 price point and then out the door be somewhere like $20 with the back print. So then you could sell something for 35 and still have margins. So whenever you're designing, though, always save as a template. So we're going to put firma shirt double. Saving as templates means that you can always go back to that artwork instead of just like creating a one-off design, and then if you want to go back to it and change colors or something, it doesn't work. You can also change the garment color. So Actually, no, this isn't the garment color. This is actually, yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing here. This one's actually a new thing I didn't see, so I'm just gonna keep it there. All right, if you ever mess up on something, just undo. All right, so now you can also choose the different shirt sizes. So we save this. You can also choose the different colors. And then my templates. You got this one here. You can edit, like I mentioned. You can always edit your designs. That's just important. You can come in and see how it previews on the black. So we got the front. We want to do the black preview. It looks good, man. Look at that. Honestly, guys, I personally think this actually came out pretty decent. Like, I'm very surprised by this. Huge shout outs to everybody that's been watching it. It took us about 20 minutes to design, another 15 to 20 minutes to list our first product. But you guys kind of start to see the point here. Now, what I want to do is I want to move to the hat. So when it comes to embroidery, we mentioned keep it simple, keep it clean. I want to show you guys why that case is. Now, sometimes without seeing a product in hand, it's kind of difficult to understand. So that's why I'm holding this one up here. This is a good example of a very like complex design that was then simplified. So then let's see that, guys? That was a very complex design that had like a lot of little intricacies that needed to be very much reduced. So when it comes to creating embroidery files or embroidery art, you need to keep it very simple. All right. So I hope that this little illustration helped you. And now as we start to do this screen share, you guys will see and really allow it to help you in the designing and making of your brand. All right. So we got that. Next thing we want to do, let's go back to dashboard. Remember, as long as you keep templates, you can always go back to them. That's the beauty about it. All right, so now let's head on over to products. Let's go to hats, and let's go to dad hats. Now there are some availability things, right? There are some availability things when it comes to your products, right? So destinations. It can be shipped within Europe. That's also important to note. So the way that the way that Gelato works is that they work with different print shops around the world. It's probably their biggest differentiator between them and other platforms is that they're not making the products in their own warehouses. That is something else that you need to know is that they're actually working with a supply network. So right here, 140 partners in 32 countries, right? And they work with really legit print shops, right? So they're working with these print shops to fulfill your orders, which means that sometimes products aren't available in certain countries. So in the US, they have this one available in a bunch of different colors. So we're going to design this one. Now, as we come into design, what we're going to do, again, you got to keep it simple. Firme crew. You can come in here. You see how we exported a really nice graphic? That means we can make a really nice design. So now what it's doing is it's essentially going to preview. It's going to give you a preview of what your designs are. And look, there was an issue here. So that's also something that you see in real time, right? So why was that an issue? Was it in the art? Nope, it's not in the art. So we got to find out why that was cut out. So let's maybe, is it in the size?
Oh, if he has a yellow pin at the top, that's just because the size.
Let's see.
You had to go.
There it is. You got to be under a certain size. Let's see. Okay, but you guys see that? You see how it had all of those gradients? Because it's got those gradients, it's not looking very good. So that's the design, right? So now what it's giving you is a preview of the embroidery. And this is what's pretty cool about Gelato is the fact that they are telling you, hey, this is how your embroidery is going to look. So when you're designing something and now you're like, okay, what do I do from here? This doesn't look very good. Like I don't know if I like it. Now there's a couple different things you can do. The very first is to actually get rid of your gradients. But before we do that, let's head on over to this here and make it more of a solid color. So even though we wanted something that was more of like a gradient with like firme, we might just need to go with more of a simple solid colors all around. All right, so if we got firme there, the white, let's make it yellow too. So they're going to tell you what they can print, right? So these are all the thread colors available, right? And the more that you start to reduce it, the cleaner it's going to potentially look sometimes, right? So it started off kind of bad, and now it's got a little bit better. That crew at the end, though, is always going to be a problem. So those are some of the things that you guys always need to keep in mind when it comes to designing for embroidery. That little crew has too thin of lines. It's never going to look that good. So the only other thing that you can do, so we simplified the colors. The crew is going to look like something like this, guys. It ain't going to look good. So the other thing we can do, I will change these thread colors again. Let's go with all of it yellow. But now it's going to be a big mashup. Yep, you see that? So because it had a background, so from here you can kind of see what your limitations are with embroidery, right? And you may be wondering, okay, what do you do? So the first thing you try to do is keep it all in one color. Now, from far away, doesn't look that bad. Like if I were to look at this mock-up, it's like, oh, that don't look bad. That looks kind of cool. But if you're a stickler for design, then you're probably going to want to change up your embroidery. Now, what you need to do for this, all right, let's head on over to this. And you'd have to essentially create another variation of this, right? So this is why artboards are important. And this is why a design program that just allows you to make changes is so key. Like imagine if you didn't know Photoshop and you had to do all this stuff, guys. Guys, I was using Photoshop for years and I never really learned it. Comment down below in the chat if you ever really learned Photoshop. I didn't. Like it was always changing and it was always so confusing and I always had to YouTube stuff. Like I guess I just don't have the patience for it. But so what we can do here, there's two different things we can do. If I really wanted the crew in here, what I'd have to do is I have to make it bigger. And then the bigger design, but because it's also got that shadow in the background, that's also why it's doing that. So because it's got that gradient, that's giving us a lot of issues. So you know what? We might just have to take it out or make it bigger. And then in the embroidery, we can just. But no, I don't think it looks that good with it being bigger. I think it's something that should be something subtle. So we're just gonna have to download the firma itself. And again, these are things that you have to make adjustments for. And this is a reality of doing things with print on demand or any manufacturing. So it's not just a gelato issue. It's not just a, oh man, why can't they do this for me? It's a print quality thing, guys. So you need to always get the best print quality. And to do that, sometimes you need to alter your artwork. You need to remove certain elements that are just going to be too difficult for the embroidery to work on. And that's why it's kind of cool that they got these previews here, because this actually saves you a lot of time. All right, so you see that? Because imagine like if you designed something and you loved it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, no, it doesn't come out the way that you designed it. Your mock-up, it doesn't look like your mock-up. Right? That's probably like a big issue. Oh man, this didn't come up like my mock-up. It's garbage. These are real things, guys. Real things you have to account for. And the fact that it's got the outline in the background, that's also, it's going to look good. It's going to look pretty good. I think once they digitize it, it'll look legit. But we definitely always want, you guys will see why it's so important to keep your designs simple. The simpler they are, the better it's going to be. We're doing yellow, yellow, yellow. We'll go yellow with a black background. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah. All right, check that out. That right there, that's passable. That's gonna look good. Once they digitize it and they work their magic, it's gonna come out really nice. But that is what you're shooting for here, guys. So we're gonna save this as a template. We're gonna do firme hat.
What
We're gonna save it. And we just built out the 2 products. We're not going to do 3 products for the sake of this. For the sake of this live stream, we're going to keep it to 2. But you guys get the idea. Once you upload your phone case design and your phone case graphic, it's up here, and you can now list it for sale. Now, maybe that is a good product to talk about, though. So when it comes to print on demand, this is something that we should probably just quickly cover. Now, when it comes to selling products on print on demand, you got different prices, right? You saw Shaka cost 19. The hat, let's take a look at it and then see what the hat was going to cost. $15.76. So let's just say 16. So you got a $25 t-shirt, $16 hat. The hat you might be able to resell for 30, maybe 27 consistently, right? The shirt, 35 to 40. So margins aren't always there for every product. So you got to have a good product mix. And what I mean by that is you got to have some products that are lower cost with higher margin, but or you got to have some products that have very small margins, so you're not making that much money, but people are buying it and they're coming to your store to take a look at it, and they might add another product that has a higher margin, right? So the better you can create a collection, each product in that collection is going to have a different price and a different profit margin. The idea is for people to buy a hat, to buy a shirt, to buy the phone case, right? So the better you can design and kind of make people want to buy all 3 products, that's how you're going to make money with print on demand. Because you're not going to make it on the sale of just one item at a certain cost. If we were selling those t-shirts for $35, we're only making maybe $5 to $10 depending on the cost that it actually is going to take us out the door, right? So those margins are very minimal. But if we can add a hat and start selling that for $30 and people really love it, then now you have more margins there. And if you can add a phone case that people can pick up for $20 and it costs you $10 to make, you're making good margins on those products. So you always got to design a collection with different price points in mind. Now, once it comes to this, right? So when it comes to actually putting together your product catalog, right? So let's say we're going to place an order. So you can place an order with your samples using the discount code below, like we mentioned. You get 50% off. So instead of it being $25, you guys get it for about $12.50, right? So those are some of the things that you guys need to keep in mind. If you sign up through the links in the description down below, you guys can get everything that you see up here for 50% off. So make sure you guys go check out that link for Gelato. It's gelato.com/John. So you guys can take a look at that. It'll be in the description right down below. Or you could type it in. Now, when it comes to listing it to your store, all right, so once you actually have it on your Shopify, you connected your Shopify, it's going to show up in here. And now what you're going to do is you're going to select the size, you're going to select the colors and the sizes you want to make available. So it'll also tell you which products might be out of stock. So hey, don't list that one because it's out of stock. It tells you right there. Now it's got the front, it's got the back. And you could see front and back. All right, so now this is where the magic of Gelato comes in, because you could also choose mockups, right? Depending on the plan that you got, Gelato does have a couple different plans. Depending on the plan, you can get different mockups, but we're going to go front and back. And since there was nothing on the side, we're not going to use the side. And variant images. So we're going to set this one as the main image. Front and back. You could download. So you could also save these. Now, the important part of that is saving them allows you to promote them on social media, stories, marketing materials. So Gelato makes it really easy to do this. All right, now we continue to the details. So this is the firme official shirt. You can come through here, attach a table, the table that's included there, print material. All right, cool. Continue to prices. All right, so when it comes to prices, this is important here, guys. Now, as we mentioned, this is the price that you'd sell it at. This is the price it costs you to make. So $25. As you go higher, there is a higher fee, right? So that 2XL does have a higher cost because there's more fabric. And sometimes they got to adjust the print too. So because of that, and then you got your shipping cost here. So if you wanted a 50% margin, you needed to sell this for $36. So product cost, all variants. What is it doing? 36. Oh, it's changing some. Okay, so that's what it's doing. Shadow. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so there's a couple different things that it's doing here, and it's shadow S directed garment. So depending on your selling price, you can adjust. But what you could do is you could set retail price, and if we know, hey, this is what we're going to be selling it for at $35, we see exactly what our profit is, right? So a lot of times, sometimes you might have to sell something for a certain price because that's what your market wants. And like I was mentioning, those instances, your profit margins are very minimal. Now, this profit margin is also assuming that your customer is paying for that product. All right. So you're that the customer is paying for shipping, right? So this table here shows that your customer is the one paying for shipping, not you. And this is your profit margin there. All right, so that's essentially how that looks. Let's set the retail price to 35. Once you review it and approve it, it goes live on your store and you're good to start selling it. So let's continue to review. It's got that. You can edit anything else and then you publish. All right, so we're going to keep that in draft and do the same thing for the headwear. Headwear is the exact same thing, guys. So once it's there, oh man, the whole time I don't think I was showing that. Hold on, guys. So I don't think I was showing you guys what I was doing just now. I apologize. I should have been looking at the comments. So yeah, what I did there is I essentially just went to the process of publishing it. So from the design, choose the colors, choose the sizes. It'll tell you if a size is not in stock. And then just continue to mockups. You could download your mockups. You could choose which variant you want to be the main page. Continue to details. Update your details, update your pricing. And this is what I was talking about when it came to setting your retail price. So if you wanted to have a certain margin, or if you knew, hey, my customers are going to be paying 35, maybe I list it for 37. You update and it tells you what your profit margin's here, not including what the customer's paying for shipping. So this is assuming that your customer pays for shipping. Right, that's why you got that margin. But if you're paying for shipping, you got to discount that $4. And if you're selling on a platform like Etsy or Amazon, they take a percentage too. So now you got to discount that percentage from your profit. You can quickly start to see how your margins are low on certain products, which is why it's important to design for different prices. So continue to review, you review it, and then you're ready to publish. All right. So I want to say that was an hour tutorial on designing together, right? You guys just saw us design, you saw us upload to Gelato's platform, and you saw what type of profit margins you can have. Throughout this video, we talked about the important things that you guys need to know about selling with print on demand, such as having different prices, and more importantly, how to download your products, your product designs, and the ability for you to be able to edit in real time. Because as you upload to a print on demand platform, it might give you some errors. You need to be able to fix those errors. So I hope this tutorial helped, guys. Leave a chat right now with a comment or a key takeaway that you enjoyed for this. Use this video as a reference. Once we upload it, once we publish it from the live stream, we are going to put timestamps, right? So I hope that those timestamps help you guys navigate. You can use this as a little mini tutorial on designing and doing little things that we typically don't show in videos, because YouTube videos is all about retention, right? It's all about making sure people like what they're watching and that they want to keep watching it. Whereas these live streams that we're going to do moving forward is all about giving you guys real insight and real value in every single live that we do. So we'll be bringing on guest speakers. We'll be bringing on people from our community, which includes you. So if you want to be a part of these live streams in the future, or if you want to collaborate and showcase what it is that you're doing and your talents, make sure you guys check out the links in the description right down below, where we have a link to our community. In that community is where we can actually connect. You guys can DM the team. You guys can ask your questions. We also do private live streams in there once a month. So there's a lot of opportunities for us to connect and continue to help each other through your journey. And when I say help each other, there's other people that are also building their brands. As of this recording, we're almost at 800 people in that group. We're about to grow it to 1,000. I want you to be a part of it. Let's discuss. Let's share resources. Let's talk about branding, business, marketing, and help you continue to build your brand from the ground up. So I hope every one of you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're a new viewer, and I'll see you guys on the next live stream.